And there are men in the box, and it comes for Pablo Hernandez, and Pablo Hernandez scores a goal for Leeds United! Oh! Goal, a goal, a goal! Yeboah. On he goes! Oh! Even by his standards. Breathtakingly brilliant.
Hang on a minute, here's Howson, can he win it? Yes he can! Leeds United are on their way to Wembley! Johnny Howson again!
And the ball's over Brown, and this is Beckford, he just ran away from him, but he'll still get a strike in on goal, and score at the Stretford end for Leeds United, and it doesn't get any better than that for a Leeds centre-forward.
Good ball, Becchio well placed! Leeds United draw level on aggregate!
Well, the roof has just been lifted off Elland Road. What an incredible noise we are witnessing here.
What is going on, everybody? You're very welcome along to LeedsBros for your match preview. Leeds United head down to the Amex Stadium this Saturday to take on Brighton, where it's not a happy hunting ground for Leeds United, but let's hope we can turn it around this Saturday. Throughout the course of this show, we're going to run through opposition, fact file, recent form of Brighton, and our head-to-head with them. And then towards the end of the show, as a little bit of fun, we always give our score predictions as well. And then it'll be over to you guys in the comments below to let us know what you think the scores are going to be. Before we do get into the show, guys, if you don't mind, please make sure you're dropping a like on the video. And, of course, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button as well. Dylan, happy Halloween. I love your outfit.
Happy Halloween, lads. That's right. This is actually the young lads, so as you can know by my fat head, it does barely fit. But sure,
no, that's a large to us.
It is, Darren. Right down never over. I'm already insecure as it is. The hairline is gone as it is. But sure, look, it is what it is. It's how we roll. It was either this or a set of blue ears. Put it that way. So,
I love it. I love it. Happy Halloween to everybody. Let's get into a couple of the comments here. Pierre's here. He said, thanks for another show. No problem at all, buddy. Thank you for being here. Thank all you guys for being here, making this something that we really do enjoy doing. Stephen Bourne is here. He said, disco bingo tonight, lads. Have a great show. I'll catch you in the morning. Have a fantastic night, mate. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Tony Clark is here. He says, evening, everyone. Evening, Tony. Thanks for popping in. Danny Rumsey says, smash it a like and subscribe. Please do that, guys. That would be fantastic. Tony Martin is here as well. Says, evening, lads. Evening, Tony. Buddy. Chris is here. He said, good morning, lads. I'm finally up early enough to catch a live. Cheers. Thanks for popping in, Chris. All the way over the other side of the world watching LeedsBros. Absolutely fantastic. Jason O'Keefe says, boo, can't believe you didn't come on as fancy dress. We did. You don't notice.
I'm Darren, he's Dillo.
Excuse me. Sorry about that. Tony says, feeling positive about tomorrow. Me too. Me too, Tony. I don't know what it is. There is something about it. Sneeze if someone will come on stream. Isn't that fantastic, isn't it? Yes. Dillo's Halloween outfit really scary. I tell you one thing, you wouldn't want to meet Dylan down a dark alley. I tell you that much. Anyway, Amy Clark is here. She says, evening, lads. Happy Halloween to you, everybody. Where's the banana suit, lads? You know, the banana suit was actually in the house. My little lad was encouraged me to try and get it on this evening, but no, I didn't. Bit of a party pooper here. Craig, he's back in the building. Hope you're keeping well, pal. Haven't seen you in a while. He said, what's the crack, lads? The crack is 90. The crack is 90 here, as always, on LeedsBros. Dylan, let's look forward ahead to Brighton tomorrow. 3 o'clock kickoff. Not very often we get them, but we do travel down to the Amex Stadium. As we said, not a happy hunting ground for Leeds United in recent times. We're going to go through the opposition fact file, etc. But how are you feeling just ahead of the game? Because we always kind of go off feelings, don't we, going into games first, rather than looking at stats and, you know, last time we played them and where they are in the league and where Leeds are in the league, etc. But how are you feeling going into tomorrow's game, especially off the back of stopping a win against West Ham?
Yeah, look, as I said during the last course video about West Ham, you know, I didn't think West Ham play particularly good. And I know it kind of shines the light away from us a little bit, but we really stepped up to the plate and proved that we can play against, you know, top Premier League sides. Look, the teams, use Wolves as an example on West Ham, you know, they're really struggling at the minute, but at the end of the day, we are a newly promoted side and we can take what we can. Brighton, on the other hand, it's going to be a tough place to go, but because of the win at West Ham, should lift all these boys. And obviously, we heard from Daniel Farke's press conference, more or less everyone is is on the right side of injuries, and they're just looking
I'm
for
music
minutes
to
now.
your ears, Dylan. I couldn't believe it when I hear
it's
that.
Great. I know, it's great. I just wanted to, real quick before we get back into this, I know people can't take me seriously with this hat on. I know
I'm just reading Smarties here. Look at his smidge toy on that loaf, Dillo.
Yeah, I know.
Smidge.
It's the young lad,
stitched.
and it is an extra large, as Darren kind of rad me up, but also there from Danny Rumsey. Dillo looks like Barry from Kevin Barry. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, we anyone that comes to Leeds or anyone that we have to go to, it's going to be a tough game. I just hope Park gets the team selection right, and I hope the boys are at it. I don't want this going down 1-0. You've said it religiously, Darren, throughout the season. We need to be on the upper hand, especially being away from home. So I'm nervous, but I'm optimistic, and certain players like Brennan Aronson, we've talked about it, the quality that he needs to bring now each week. We know that he can do it. And DCL was putting a ball in the back of the net for us. But yeah, I'm not going for a high scoring game, but I think Leeds will scrape it.
I am. My prediction is going to be goals for some reason tomorrow. But we'll get into that again. We don't want to ruin that now.
I might change my mind.
We'll make you change your mind. Tony Martin says, lads, love your stream, straight to the point, honest as ever. I really appreciate that, Tony. We're just ourselves.
Love comments like that, man.
We're just ourselves when we jump on stream. Chris says selections are going to be interesting. I think they are. I think selection is going to be a really interesting one. Didn't start an 11 show yesterday. I wouldn't be changing too much, obviously off the back of a win against against West Ham. The only one thing I think that he might change up is, you're putting me off with your stupid hat. the only one that I think you might change up is, you might see Tanaka come out and stack on him, but personally I want to see Tanaka stay in there and let's stack fight for his place and get back into the side. But it's going to be an interesting one as well. I don't think Stroke gets his place back in the team as much as Leeds fans are calling for him to come back in. I don't think Fark changes that, and I think it's going to be up to Pascal Stroke now to fight his way back into the team. So it's definitely going to be interesting. It's one that I'm really looking forward to, especially away from home. Daniel Fark does like to go a little bit more defensive and a little bit more, what would you say, a little bit more secure, what would you say? A little bit more reserved, say, in a way, games we've seen that from him. So it's going to be interesting to see the starting lineup tomorrow when it does come out. Did well against West Ham, but I'm not sure they can be considered a Premiership team. They're poor. They're really, really poor. Myself and Dylan said it on the podcast on Wednesday night. They're dog shit. They really are. So I don't think we have to put too much emphasis against West Ham. As a win is obviously fantastic. As a newly promoted side is what Daniel Fark says. But I don't think we can put too much emphasis on beating West Ham because they're really, really poor at the minute. Robbie says, evening lads. Evening, Robbie. Thanks for popping in. Cricky says, give Darren the hat with that trim. What's wrong with your trim, man? Don't be dissing me like that. Nah, it doesn't. I need a bit off it. You're right, mate. I do. You're right. Stephen Bourne says, praying for a win tomorrow, as always, but I'll take a draw 100%. Have a good one, lads. I'll catch you tomorrow. Bingo starting. Enjoy, pal. Best luck. Hope you win bingo, man. He's only 30 years of age and he's at bingo. Like, he's honestly
a legend. He is an
Tony Martin,
legend.
Does he change the starting 11 for tomorrow? I wouldn't. I wouldn't personally, Tony. I wouldn't change it tomorrow, but I think you might see Stack come in, as we were saying. But personally, I wouldn't change it. I'd like to see it as is. Steve says here, a point would be great for us, but we could nick it. I hope so. But I think you're right. I think if you're offering me a point now, lads, I would absolutely snatch it and get out of there. As we know, it's not great down there for us in the Amex Stadium. So I would 100% take a point down there. I knew the season was going to be difficult. I think teams have had a few off ones, but they are doing well overall. DF selection has been a bit annoying, but then I don't see training exactly. The only thing I kind of do hope for tomorrow, obviously, getting the really good news from Daniel Farker's press conference is everyone is available for this game. So I would like to see Willie Nanto get a couple of minutes. Hopefully, if the game state is going the right way, we can bring him on for a couple of minutes. And the same with Dan James as well. I was a bit frustrated seeing him getting on just the last couple of minutes against West Ham. So want to get these boys back up to speed and fighting for their places. So hopefully tomorrow, if the game state is right, we see Willie Nanto and Dan James getting a couple of minutes. Evening all from Brighton, says Shane. Enjoy the game tomorrow, Shane. Safe trip down there and have a fantastic day, pal. Hopefully Leeds United pick up all 3 points for you, buddy. I think Pascal comes in just because he's a little bit quicker than Bial. Yeah, I don't know, Danny. I don't know. I understand where you're coming from with that one with Bial. I just don't think Brighton are going to be that kind of side that are going to kind of suck us out, try and get in behind them, or trying to play through the line. So I think tomorrow we're going to sit in. So I don't think pace is going to come into it tomorrow. Personally, I don't. So but it's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. All right, you sexy lot, just join. Sorry, go ahead, Dylan. Sorry.
I was just saying it's going to be that sort of game similar to West Ham. It's going to be a lot played in the midfield. That's where it's going to be dictate play. Yeah. Especially with Georgie in there as well.
Yeah. Philip Anderson says, all right, you sexy lot, just join, smashed a like for the boys. Cheers. But I don't know who's the sexy.
Cheer that, Jody.
For me, Biol and Tanaka are starters for me, says Pierre. I think so. I think so as well, buddy. Not throwing DJ off the bench tomorrow. Just hope it doesn't leave it too late and make an impact if we need it. Smarty just talks sense, man, doesn't he? If you haven't, lads, go across and check Orton O'Barr. Smarty, it's just, that's pure sense, isn't it? It's great, obviously, having that coming off the bench, that talent, and like that, hope Fark doesn't leave it too late. Hopefully, it's not 70 plus, you know, when the game's kind of ran away from us. Hopefully, we get them on a little bit earlier than that. We needed Tanaka spark in the middle of the park. I think so as well, Tony. I agree with that. We know how much Tanaka looks after the ball. We know his passing ability. I think it's going to be really important tomorrow that we do look after the ball at times against Brighton. I don't want to see what we're doing against West Ham, lads. If we do rush into a couple of goals lead, I don't want to see us being over generous and giving the ball back to Brighton and chasing the game. So I'd like to see us look after the ball tomorrow. So that's why I think Tanaka could be the man for the job. But let's see. For me, Tanaka starts on the bench for Stack. Biol keeps his place. So yeah, Chris is taking it out. So yeah, it's fair. Look, it is a tight one. More or less, it's unchanged apart from one or two signings. Chatting to a lot of Brighton fans, they're saying Leeds is a team they might think will be bogey. We haven't been. They've been our bogey. They've been our bogey team, but let's hope they're right. Won't have much of the ball tomorrow. If Stack comes in, I want to see him switched on. Absolutely, Robbie. Absolutely, me does that. That's why I would be inclined if I was Daniel Farke to keep him on the bench. So when you do bring him on, that he really has that little bit between his teeth trying to get back into the starting 11. That's what I do. Probably a little bit mean, but I'll probably make him suffer a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? Not just take him out for one game and, you know, you're back in, because he had 3 poor games in a row. So I want to see him fighting. Only 14 lads. Hit that like button, lads. 26 in the building really does help us out. It's a shame for Tanaka. His buddy Matoma is out, but so happy he's missing me too. Matoma's very, very good on his day. Very fantastic player. I think he could be too physical for them. I think we could be too physical for them tomorrow. Let's hope so. Dylan, let's get into it. Let's have a look at the opposition fact file. Let's see how Brighton's season is going so far. So they do sit 13th in the Premier League table, just 2 positions ahead of us and only 1 point ahead. So far this season, their record is 3 wins, 3 draws, and 3 losses, totaling 12 points. At home, they haven't lost a game yet at home, lads. They have won 2 games, 2 draws, totaling 8 points. Away record isn't too bad. 1 win on the road, 1 draw, 3 losses away. 14 goals scores, 15 conceded, equals a goal difference of -1. And a player definitely to look out for tomorrow for Leeds United. One that always seems to go under the radar, never really seems to get a lot of credit, Dylan, is Danny Welbeck. Has 5 goals so far for Brighton this season. So definitely a player that Leeds United really need to be switched on tomorrow when he has the ball in around the box.
As I said, it's simply down to the midfield for me, Darren. I think that's going to dictate play. You know, if he plays 3 in the park, look, that's more likely what he is going to do. But the link-up play between Georgie and Danny Welbeck is, you know, they're both physical big players, and if he's in and around that box, he's going to have a shot on goal. And Georgie's not afraid to shoot either, so we need to be switched on. You know, we've been kind of banging the drum about our defence and our midfield. You know, obviously the other end, we need to put goals on the back of the net, but we've been positive when it comes to our defence and midfield. So tomorrow we'll really prove that up against these players. And look, now this, like, Brighton, they're a big club, don't get me wrong, but they're not the top 6 big club, but they're definitely an established Premier League
well established team. Yeah,
of course. So it's up to us to dictate play, and, you know, don't fall down to it just because we're away from home.
Yeah, that's how. So I think tomorrow we're going to need to look after the ball when we do have it. Don't be giving it back to them too stupidly tomorrow. Steve says here, Okafor starts with Bogle and Tanaka. I think so. I think Okafor definitely keeps his place. We know we went off at half time, but obviously what Fark said, that everyone's fit and ready to go. So we obviously see good Munson coming into left back, Dylan, which is obviously fantastic news. I actually haven't spoke to you about it. Obviously, it was a little bit of a worry, Dylan, seeing good Munson going off, because he has been really good in that left back position for Leeds. But thankfully, just a bit of a bruise to his back. He's going to come back in tomorrow. But special mention then to James Justin as well, Dylan, who came on and had a really good game when he came on against West Ham also.
Well, that's what I'm literally going to lead on to. My next kind of topic was the Gabby situation. When he initially went off, I was obviously panicking as much as everyone else was. But then to see James Justin come on and done what he done, and, you know, going into this game, not that I was worried, but I was kind of like, it is what it is. This man can definitely play, and he's holding his own, and he'll do a job. But it's great to see Gabby fit. It's great to see everyone coming back from injury, and it's because it's just, I keep saying it. I know people are sick and tired. It's simply down to competition, and you hit the nail on the head. They're going back to Stack. If he was to come on, into the second half with that kind of bit between his teeth, trying to prove, he should be starting, or I want to be the game changer here. So that's what you want. So I think anyone that starts tomorrow, fair play to them, pat on the back. For the players that are coming off the bench to come on, you really, really need to show some sort of quality, whether we're trailing the game or we're waiting for it to score a goal. So you just work hard. That's the main thing. Like, even down to Gruev, to be fair, I think Gruev's done well. It's minutes getting into his legs as well. So just when your name is shouted for, be ready to go.
Do you think, Dylan, with Brighton, obviously they played on Monday night against Arsenal. They did lose 2-0 away from home, not too far away from Brighton anyway, but they were away from home on Monday night. Lost 2-0 away from Arsenal. Quick enough turnaround for them, obviously playing Saturday, then 3 o'clock. Not a quick turnaround like what we're usually used to in the Championship, when Leeds usually playing a Saturday, 5 o'clock, and then we're playing again on a Tuesday. But a quick enough turnaround. Leeds do have a couple of days rest. Does that play into it, or is it kind of...
It could play into it too much, as the boys probably think, we're going to be a bit more ready than they are, sort of narrative. But then at the same time, if you start thinking that type of mentality, then it comes back to bite you. So I think Brighton are going to be up for it regardless, lads, because they've a point to prove. And let's be honest, in my opinion, I don't know about anyone else's, I think Brighton have the best academy and for their sell-on clauses for certain players.
It's just their recruitment, Dylan. The recruitment is spot on. They unlock gems, absolute gems, and they always seem to sell them to Chelsea for a fortune. Casado is one that rolls off the top of the head as well. The recruitment is really good. They have a good model there down at Brighton out there, and probably a way a club should be ran. Really,
should be ran, yeah, correct, yeah, 100%. And it'd be the same now going forward when if Georgie gets an offer, and Fark obviously mentioned it in his press conference. He's starting to become a star, and he doesn't want to talk about him too much because we have to look after him. But I have to agree, lads, and. Watching him himself, and obviously he done the name of the horse, Bright Lee, for Brighton and Leeds. So fair play to him and that. And Georgie, I hope you don't score, and I hope you have a shit game tomorrow. But I do love you. Love you.
Yeah, there's not very often Leeds players leave Leeds United, and I don't really follow their career. There is kind of a select few that I do. Obviously, Calvin Phillips is one player that left. I wanted to see him well. Rafinha is the obvious one as well. There's a few that leave this club. Even Luke Aylan gone to Middlesbrough as well. Players like that you want to see. Liam Cooper, stuff like that. Players that have left. But he is one of them players that I look at, and I do want to see him doing well. But when I do see him doing well for Brighton, I look at it with a little bit of envy. Like, what could it be? If we did go up that playoff season, if we had won that playoff final, what sort of Leeds United would we have got then? Me keeping the likes of Rutter, keeping the likes of your Somerville, how we would have built on that. You never know. Even if we would have stayed up, who knows? But it's always the ifs and buts. But Dylan, one player that we're not going to come up against tomorrow is obviously ex-academy graduate James Milner, who I do believe is suffering a little bit with a muscular injury, so he's not going to play tomorrow. But little shout out to James Milner, Dylan. What an unbelievable career that man has had. He just seems to be getting fine wine.
Unbelievable, is right. And you hit the nail on the head. I was literally going to say that, fine wine. And I did see a stat, if I'm not mistaken. Danny might be able to call this one out for me. He's actually only 10 or 15 appearances away from beating Gareth Barry.
Gareth Barry's fantastic, isn't it? Yeah.
Achievement for Premier League appearances. And to call him a Leeds lad for a starting a career, sitting on the bench as a 17-year-old, you might as well say, in a Champions League game for Leeds. And it's great. And he's had a wonderful career with, obviously with Man City, with Liverpool, and now with Brighton. So hats off to him completely. I really, really thought at one stage that we would have came back and finished his career with Leeds, but you never know. Early days.
We'll do another Johnny Howson. You could have him and Johnny Howson in midfield for the 21s next season. Bring up that average age. Let's get into a couple of the comments because they're flowing in, so keep them comments coming in. We get through as many as we can. Fark needs to bring impact subs on earlier in the game. Let's go for an away win. I agree with that as well. I do agree with that, but it's up my fact, and we know it's that 70-minute, isn't it? He's just regimented to that 70-minute.
Yeah.
Bialtanaka and Okafor starts for me, says Steve. Then he says 1-1. We score first with Okafor and Rutter equalise, and he doesn't celebrate. I don't think he does either. I don't think he does, given they did do a little bit of a short earlier on. He did do a sit-down interview. Rutter's not too sure the type of reception he is going to get from Leeds United fans. He said he understands the anger from fans when you leave football clubs. But he did say that he loved his time at Leeds United, and it was a very tough decision to leave. And that's why I say I think if we did go up in that playoff season, Dylan, he could still be a Leeds United player. But it's one of them things. We move on, isn't it? We roll, we move on.
Of course. Well, look, he gave us highs. He certainly gave us lows. It was building momentum for another team. So at the end of the day, I've no bad blood. That was going to be a tongue twister there, so I had to really think about that word there. There's no bad blood at all for me anyway. As I said, he's definitely one of the players that I will follow going forward in his career. I loved him. Absolutely loved him. So
Shane says midfield and defence will be a battle. Let's nick a goal. I'd like to see an early goal for Leeds. I think that would be class up to defend. But don't want to see the Shoon do the fuck on 1-0 down again and chasing the game down there. Okay, good Munson came off, but that was sad. But James Justin really did well as a standing. Fantastic, and on his weaker foot, his weaker left side, he was really good. Definitely a younger Sam Boyram, Dylan, something we were calling for in the transfer window. That we needed a little bit of a younger Sam Boyram. If you could take, 15 years off Sam Boyram, we'd have him in a heartbeat. And we've got that in James Justin, so class. Good Munson would be a big miss. He would be, absolutely, Tony, and thank God he is in the team. Not that was ready to burn the fullbacks. Hopefully he gets up to speed as soon as he possibly can. But they've just played, so they will have the momentum. Yeah, it's you can look at it both sides, Danny, can't you? You can either look at it, haven't had a quick turnaround time, training to get used to Leeds, or you could look at it that on the momentum. But they did lose the last two games against Scum 4-2, and then Arsenal obviously on Monday 2-0. So hopefully it's 3 losses in a row for Brighton. Do you think Brighton's team this weekend will be completely different to their midweek lineup? I don't think they'll go too far off that way. Because now that the home Christian, what they would away from home, it'll be interesting to see their lineup as well tomorrow and how they kind of set up in the first couple of minutes. Likewise with Leeds United as well. It's obviously what make or break games, isn't it?
I just don't want it to be this type of game, where we're dominating possession and nothing coming out of it. I think it needs to be, a goal first as quick as possible, and not necessarily sit back and defend and park the bus, but more like dictate the game and control the game for our narrative. Then if he does want to make the subs around 70 minutes, because his comments after the West Ham game where he didn't feel that the first half was very good. I thought the first half was phenomenal compared to the second half. I thought the second half was rubbish. But look, that's what it's all about. It's all about different opinions. But we need to dictate the game. We can't be dominating possession, and then then all of a sudden then we're going down 1-0 and then 2-0, and it's just we need to be at it.
Yeah. Absolutely, 100% agree with you. I do agree with Chris' comments here as well. I'm hoping DCL to score a cracker just to shut up the negative comments that have been coming around on social media. I agree as well, Chris, because I think Leeds United fans might have the blinkers on a little bit with Calvert-Lewin. I do think if you take him out for a game and start Metcher, start Pirro, you probably then would start to realise what Calvert-Lewin brings to this side, and he's very, very important the way Leeds United are playing at the minute. But I do agree he does need to start putting the ball in the back of the net as well. So let's provide that for him, and then it's up to him then when he gets the opportunities to put the ball in the back of the net. Good Munson is okay so far. Said, yeah. So class, really, really good to hear. Danny said it's about 80 games. Let's read Kershaw's comments here. It says, very difficult game. We won't dominate possession. I think we will stick with the same starting 11 and we will fight for results. I agree, Theo. I don't think we'll dominate possession tomorrow. I think it might be fairly even-ish. That's why I think Kershaw, when we do have it, we really need to look after the ball tomorrow. Don't give it away stupidly. Hopefully our passing is on point as well tomorrow. That 70 minutes sub thing still isn't a thing. Is that for some fans to be moaning that? Yeah, a little bit, maybe a little bit earlier, Philip. That's what I'd say when games, especially against the likes of Burnley and that as well, you like to see it change a little bit more as well. So, be interesting.
Just quicker.
Are you going to the square ball gigs in Elland Road? We are, Michael. Yeah, we're going to the one in Dublin. Haven't got the tickets just yet, but definitely going to go to that. Cannot pass up that opportunity to go and see the lads here in Dublin. So fantastic, and hopefully a great night out as well, and hopefully a couple of Leeds fans travel over for it, and then we can go on a night out in Dublin, which would be absolutely quality. So let us know if you're going, Michael, or if anyone else, and we'll organise meeting up. It'll be class. I always said that it wasn't right. Sorry, though.
I just said it'd be a good crack, a few points.
Yeah. I always said that it wasn't right. It was something that that Daniel Farke haters used to rip Daniel Farke apart, or the 70-minute subs, I think it is, yeah. I actually have a little stat here that I've seen, and credit to LUFC data. If you haven't got them on Twitter or at all, you can go visit their website as well, as they have really, really good stats about Leeds United, so go check them out. But they did put up this earlier on their Twitter. He said, Leeds have never gone 8 away league games without scoring a goal against a single opponent. And that will obviously be against Brighton. So Leeds have played over 650 minutes of football in the Amex Stadium without scoring against Brighton. So hopefully tomorrow is the time, Dylan. That's a lot. Like, that is a lot.
I was just about to say,
650 minutes without scoring a goal at the Amex. Like, whoa.
You have to put the course on us now. You know, they're not going to score at all now, or we're going to score about 5 goals. Watch. It'll be one or the other.
Floodgates open. Floodgates open tomorrow. Robbie says, I'd love to see DCL score. This depends on the quality of service. It's all about service. Dylan, I'll let you take it away with that one because I've been banging that drum about the service of Calvert-Lewin, particularly in the last 2 games. He hasn't been given the service to score goals, so we can't really beat him with that stick that he's not scoring goals if it's not being provided to him.
Well, you know, you keep saying we're playing to certain individual strengths, and I think we are DCL, but it's simply just the quality of the balls that he's getting, or sometimes just getting hoofed up to him. We go back to the West Ham game in that second half. Every time we got the ball, it was getting hoofed up, and he was trying to control it. Players weren't coming to him in time, or we're just losing the ball, or we're just missing out on the header or the takedown itself. But his knockdowns and his hold-up play and bringing players into play in general is what he brings to this team. It's the final product, is putting the ball in the back of the net. Now, if you bring it to certain individuals, hence Pirro, the ball will probably go in the back of the net because it's been taken down, and you know he's not afraid to have a shot. So I think I'm not just singling out Pirro here. It's just because he's the main man for me. But at the end of the day, I think when it comes to certain individuals, even Longstaff, Tanaka, the boys need to start chipping in it a bit more from midfield. But then that all depends on how Fark sets us up there. And is he gonna leave the boys sit back and, you know, put the shackles on? But in my eyes, and I think we can all agree, the shackles need to come off, and they need to come off for a bit longer than just 20-25 minutes into the first half, or last 20 minutes into a game when we're trailing. So from the get-go, from the first whistle, do what you need to do and get it done. And I'm just seeing there, Robbie there, he won't dribble DCL or outpace anyone. I completely agree. He's not that type of player. He's simply a hold-up ball player.
He's more a little bit kind of right off the shoulder, isn't he? A little poacher, crosses into the box, little slow ones in behind on kind of off the shoulder sort of striker. But then also does the hold-up play fantastically well. Absolutely. There's no way. There's no way I would be dropping him for this game. Absolutely not. Let's take a look then, Dylan, at the head-to-head with Brighton. So done a bit of digging into this one today, guys. So found it a little bit strange. So it says Leeds United and Brighton have faced each other 18 times in competitive matches, which does seem very low, but this goes right back to 1976, and the records don't go any further than that for some reason. So it is 18 times in competitive matches. Brighton hold the advantage with 10 wins, while Leeds United have only recorded 3 wins. The remaining 5 encounters have ended in draws. The recent encounter between both sides, March 23, it was a 2-2 draw at Elland Road. August 22, a 1-0 win to Brighton. And then going back to May 22, a 1-0 draw at Elland Road as well, Dylan. So not bad reading over the last couple of games, but overall, Brighton is one of them teams where you look at with Leeds United is they're that bulky side, and just let's hope tomorrow we put that to bed, because an away win, Dylan, I think would just be phenomenal. I think a draw would feel like a win down there, so a win, wow.
I think a win is the dreams and reality aspect of it. I'm certainly going to go for a draw. I'm just this narrative now. I think any point away from home is crucial. Obviously, Elland Road is a completely different ball game. It's the 12th man with the fans behind them. But I'm gonna go for a draw, Darren. And if anything else comes of it, it's definitely a positive. But it's just positives to take from it. I think the injuries itself is really what the positive is. I think that's kind of drilling me in the head a little bit. Is, you know, for DJ to get minutes. You know, anyone that has been injured, and then the shake-up as well. It'd be interesting to see what he does with Stroke and Jacobi all. So there's places there for lads. It's who wants it most. But as I said yet again, it's simply we need to dictate that game. We can't be going down there and bowing down to them or showing them too much respect. We need to get players into play. You know, obviously Okafor as well. Hopefully, you know, he's at it. And then I really want to see if Nanto's fit and fire, and if he's able to come on even for 5-10 minutes. You know, obviously DJ as well. It's just utilise every single strength that we have, and they seem to be the strength of the team at the minute.
Yeah, Dylan, I agree as well tomorrow. Look, there's obviously a lot of talk there in the chat, like about Calvert-Lewin here. Like Shane says, DCL needs a runner next to him to take advantage of his knockdowns. And DCL gets a decent delivery into the box, delivery or pass into the box. We will know when a shot on goal. And I agree with that as well, Shane. I would like to see someone in around Calvert-Lewin, because I do think his knockdown is fantastic. I really do. And I do think you see a little bit more with Okafor as well, because Okafor is one of them that he doesn't particularly like to stay on the wing. He does like to drift inside, and he does like to get a little bit closer to Calvert-Lewin. So hopefully that does come into play tomorrow. We have seen how Willie Gnonto in the past as well, where he does like the drift inside, particularly when he plays on that left-hand side. So he can do that as well. And then Dan James is a player as well that loves to get crosses into the box as well. Brendan Aronson, not so much. He has tried in the last couple of games, but notoriously not so much. And DJ does like to get balls into the box. So we have that now, Dylan, where we eventually have these options back in the side now, particularly on them wings position, where if we're not providing Dominic Calvert-Lewin with the chances to put the ball in the back of the net, we do have others now to come on and change the game tomorrow, which is going to be the beauty of it tomorrow.
I just want to see, just people are saying it there as well. I didn't want to say it because it's not going to happen. I simply want to see 2 strikers up front. I think sometimes it's too cramped in the middle with 3 midfielders, with Ampadu, Longstaff, Tanaka, or Stack, whoever it may be. Certain games will come into that. For this one, though, I simply think within the first 20 minutes, you'll see what way it's going to be. You're saying there it's going to be, we're not really going to have possession. So, in my eyes, I think that's going to be wasteful for having 3 in midfield. I would try and stretch them out as much as possible.
I think we're going to need 3 in midfield tomorrow, though. We're going to need 3 in midfield tomorrow, yeah. We're going to need to win that battle in midfield tomorrow. We'll win or lose the game tomorrow. So I think we need the 3 in midfield tomorrow. We need our midfielders to step up tomorrow, whatever 3 plays in there. Whether Stack comes in or Tanaka, we need that battle in midfield to be won tomorrow if we're going to take any points in the game.
Exactly, but then when you go back to certain games where it's been like that, where we've kind of needed to win the midfield battle, we end up losing or we come out with no points at all. So, and we've seen it obviously last year in the Championship. I know it's a different league, but I genuinely just want to see someone feeding DCL or DCL feeding someone else. That's what I'm thinking. I just want to see DCL a bit more on it.
Pirro just makes sense in your head. Like Pierre said it there as well. Like I think Pirro beside him. I think Mecha is too similar, and I don't think his goal scoring record is fantastic. So on paper, that looks like it wouldn't work. Pirro looks like the obvious one because we've seen Pirro over the last 2 seasons playing that number 10 role, Dylan, and playing that kind of deeper sort of false 9 sort of striker. Like the way Bobby Firmino used to play for Liverpool, that deep sort of line playmaker. So if you kind of had him up there around Calvert-Lewin, I'd be interested to see how that would work out. Again, it's just that massive question, Dylan, that we ask ourselves, like, would Daniel Farke do that? And I'm not too sure. And maybe Brighton isn't the game to try it, to take 3 out in midfield, but particularly against the likes of Burnley, I don't think we needed the 3 in midfield against them. So that's the game I'll be looking at to bring Pirro on and push him a little bit further forward. Even West Ham as well, I think would have been the game to do it as well. So Brighton maybe away from home, I don't mind the 3 in midfield, but games where feel winnable, I would. Let's
say within the last half an hour of the game and we're trailing, instead of waiting for the 70th minute to more or less replace strikers or a midfielder and not change shape and try and catch them on the counter, why not try it then? If we're trailing a game, what more can we lose? That kind of way. We need to start getting other players, and what I mean by players, I mean on the bench and players that come back from injury, to start chipping in and helping out boys to get them out of a hole. So I'm not necessarily saying it needs to start with Pirro and DCL up top, because it's certainly not going to happen, but I can understand by the comments what everyone's trying to say. It's an option to have, and certainly if we're trailing a game, why not try it? But I do agree. Certain games we should try. West Ham would have been one.
Yeah. Kershaw says here, if DCL scored more goals, he wouldn't be at Leeds. He's an important play both defensively and holding the ball. Absolutely. And I agree with that as well. Like if he was any way fit, there was talks of going to Manchester United at one stage, well, particularly after that season under Ancelotti. Arsenal, I think, were mooted for him as well. So it's the nail on the head there, Kershaw. If he was fully fit, playing the way he is and scoring goals, he wouldn't be at Leeds United, and that's obviously what's let him down, and particularly the injury side of things. So let's hope he can start scoring goals this season. Tony says DCL wins every header. Imagine Pirro playing off, and that's what I'm saying, the knockdowns, and we've seen a little glimpse of it against Spurs, how the two of them really looked in tandem for that Calvert-Lewin knockdown to Pirro with a snapshot and a great save from the goalkeeper as well. So I would like to see that a little bit more at times. As I said, not every game, but there definitely is just a part to play that I think I would like to see. Robbie says 2 strikers would need the press. We need the press high to be effective. That rules out Pirro, and that's fair. It's a really good point. It's a really, really good point. And I think if we're not going to play against a side that we need to press Robbie, that's where I would be trying Pirro. So I do get your point. If we're going to be playing against the likes of Brighton away from home, and that maybe that's not the game to do it. But your Burnleys and teams like that around us, I think it could be effective. Martin O'Mashon, great to see Dillo dressed up as Perry from Kevin and Perry Go Large, and Darren dressed up as Clark Kent. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, eventually, Dylan, they got me costume the Clark Kent.
44 minutes into a video and then someone gets it.
Second name is Clark and all that as well. Like, I thought you would have got it by now. No, I have to wear the glasses, lads, because I'm just gone absolutely blind at the minute. Shane says, got to go, lads. Keep doing what you're doing here. Loving it. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Let's hope this time tomorrow we'll be looking forward to match of the day. Yes. A man after my own heart as well. That's the one thing I think about after Leeds United lose a game is that rules out match of the day tonight. And I love me match of the day is on the Saturday. So hopefully.
Especially when their team wins. Honestly, I remember one time I was at the coming in somewhere. I think Leeds lost and the missus had it on, getting ready to go. I was turn that off now before I smash the telly up to pieces. I kind of like it when my team win. Okay.
It always feels a little bit too early, especially on a Saturday. Like if it's 3 o'clock kickoff and it's on that night, it feels a little bit too early to watch the highlights. But when I wake up the next day on the Sunday, and especially now having a YouTube channel, you kind of have to watch it back over and try and, pick a few bits. Not saying we're always right. We do get things wrong, but you always try and pick the bits out that you don't see during the game when the emotions are high, and things you don't see when you kind of take the result and take the emotion over. You can see things a little bit more, but you can never watch it. Never watch it on a Saturday after Leeds lose. At least it ain't Ryan Kent. Yeah, Leeds are linked with him again in January again as usual. Philip Anderson is going to go with a 3-1 win to Leeds United. Dylan, let's have it. Give us your score predictions. What are you thinking tomorrow?
I'm thinking a draw, lads. I hope I'm wrong. I'll never bet against Leeds. I'll never say Leeds will lose. But I'm going to say a draw. I think if we can scrape a draw, it's what I want. Obviously, we want to win, but I'm going to take it. I'm going to say... Geez, lads, I'm going to say 2-0.
You said at the start, it wasn't going to be a high-scoring game.
I know, but then the more I thought about it, and the more everyone was kind of... you put me off. It's Halloween. Leave me alone.
Stop yelling at me. Tony Anderson says 3 points incoming. It would be fantastic, lad. It would be fantastic. I think I'd have to go for a beer tomorrow if Leeds won the game tomorrow. I'd have to celebrate them 3 points. Tony Martin says, but lads, you are always honest. Cheers. Really do appreciate that. Really appreciate that.
Try to be.
Them comments. I'm going to go for a high scoring game, Dylan, tomorrow. As always, I don't know why, but I am feeling a little bit positive tomorrow, especially after the result to bounce back after West Ham. So I'm going to go 3-2 to Leeds tomorrow.
Oh.
DCL with 2 and Bogle with the other.
3-2 Leeds.
Last minute winner from Calvert-Lewin just to quiet everybody. Would be absolutely fantastic. Get your score predictions in there, lads. We'll read through them. Chris going unpredicting 1-0. I take that as well. I would. I take a point at Brighton, and then on to Forest, and then the international break as well. Dylan is just around the corner now as well, which stops everything. Absolute nightmare that one is. Right, Dylan. Anything else to say? Anything else you want to chat about?
Oh, thanks to everyone that did tune in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. As Darren would always say, and I'm glad everyone made fun of me. Yes, I am Kevin Perry.
That is it from all, guys. That is it from your Leeds versus Brighton match preview. Have a fantastic rest of your Halloween night. Thanks very much to everyone that did pop into tonight's stream. Before you do leave, guys, please make sure you're hitting that like button. Really does help us out. Hit that hype button as well. I don't know if it does nothing, but hit the hype button anyway. And of course, hit subscribe as well if you are enjoying the content and enjoying the madness over here at LeedsBros. And my goal scorers are, go on, quick, give us your goal scorers there. Tony's going to go 2-1 Leeds. A lot of positivity. A lot of positivity in here.
Win.
Point will be so good, says Robbie. Yeah, forgot Dylan, you're out there reminding me there doing your do. Myself and Dylan will be back as well tomorrow for your watch along tomorrow, and I will be back for it as well tomorrow, so make sure you pop in for that. See you in the early hours of Sunday morning, says Chris. I'll see you there, buddy. Right, lads, we leave it there. Gotta go, because put the kids to bed and all that stuff. They're up very late. Very, very late this hour of the night. So mind yourselves, mind each other. Catch you in the next one.